I'm Mark Michaels. I'm the program director, and I do mornings here at KLRC. And really what that means is I get up before everybody else does. And bright and early each morning we get a chance to sit in a little paneled room and hang out with thousands of our friends each day. It's just an amazing opportunity to share life every day, just kind of sitting around the kitchen table and talk about what's on our hearts, what's happening in our families, what's important to our community, and help people just get their day started. And at the end of the day, we try to have a lot of fun and try to point people to hope and let them kind of anchor themselves in the only hope that brings any kind of stability in life, in a real, just common, everyday kind of way. You know, I've read that all ministry begins at your point of just need and your point of brokenness, and I think we kind of just play that out in what we do. And I get a chance to work with the programming team here at KLRC, which is just an amazing group of talented people who help us put together the product that listeners benefit from every day on the air. And in some ways, kind of get to be the architect that decides who goes where and who does what when. And it's just a really this giant puzzle of fusing together the music and the production and the on-air talent and all those who make up KLRC what it is each day. And the opportunity that we have to just share that with each other. One of the biggest challenges we have every day is to connect with people in a way that makes them want to listen to the radio station. The biggest challenge about radio is that it's easy to turn on and it's easy to turn off. So our angle to it is that we really believe that there's nothing more compelling than the hope that comes in the gospel of Jesus Christ. And our own spiritual convictions really play themselves out in a unique way in an environment like KLRC. And I've worked in a corporate, mainstream environment where you, at best, just try to be salt and light. But in a place like this, your passion for God and your kind of call to ministry gets played out in everyday ways, whether it's something as simple as taking a moment to start off each shift by asking God to bless it, to every choice that we make about what we talk about and what song we choose, or what kind of a promotion we build out, gets filtered through what's this going to do in a listener's life, what kind of kingdom impact. Something like a See You at the Pole event that most of the radio stations would completely ignore. We get a chance to tell the story about what it's like for hundreds of students to gather around a flagpole and pray for their school and their friends and their family and the things that are of great concern to them and our country. And we get to be this giant bullhorn to tell the story of what God's doing in that. Those are the things that drive who we are.
I'm Jeremy Lewis, and I'm the production director at KLRC, and I also serve as the program director for a new online station that we have, mypositiveedge.com. What I normally do, my typical day looks like I take care of all the production work and oversee everything that is done production-wise on both stations, KLRC and mypositiveedge.com. Meaning that anything that's played between the songs, anything that's played when there's not music playing, that's something that I oversee, and most of the time I am in charge of producing that. For KLRC, we're the positive difference. And lots of times those sweepers that play between songs try to enhance that as a whole. For mypositiveedge.com, as the program director, not only do I oversee the production aspects of that, but also the selection of the music that goes into that station, which ultimately comes down to my judgment, but I don't rely on myself to pick all the music. You know, most individuals listen to radio fairly passively. So the challenge is always there to really get someone to engage with your radio station. There's a constant struggle of just trying to get people to be drawn into what you're playing and to want to stick with you for more than just flipping the radio dial, that they really want to come back to your station. That we need to be compelling. And a good way to do that, to really draw your listeners in, is to be real. Be yourself on the radio, and to do it in a compelling, creative way, which is not easy. And Sometimes it's quite a challenge, but really that's the way that you develop a relationship with your listener, and that's really what it's all about. It's just fun trying to think of new and creative ways to draw people in, whether it's putting a subtle sound effect in a sweeper, or a concert announcement that puts someone right there, or a contest idea that really, encourages them to participate. That's just really fun when that turns out to be really successful. My faith in God is a really important aspect of why I do what I do. There's not a ton of money, as most people will say, in Christian non-commercial radio, but it's more so for the ministry aspect that you can have, and ministry impact that you can have on lives for eternity, really. And not only the lives of our listeners, but our lives are impacted too through the music, through the programming. I think of songs like "Walk by Faith" from Jeremy Camp. Really, one of my personal favorites. Just the message in it is so powerful, really, and so real, no matter what you're going through in life. And really, as being the positive difference at KLRC and with My Positive Edge, how we're the positive alternative to what else is out there for the youth and young adults, really offering that hope and encouraging them to walk by faith and to develop that faith that they have in God. It's amazing when people will say, I got a chance to see this artist in concert. They were incredible, and it's just really neat to be able to be a part of that, and to be a part of that encouragement in that person's life to keep on going and to know that God is there for them.
I think ultimately for anybody who's here, it's about people and getting to use this tool. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we get a chance to meet some interesting people and some unique artists, and somebody like Jeremy who gets a chance to create pieces of production that impact people's lives every day. But ultimately, it's just a chance to serve people and love on them and share hope in Christ.
We get asked sometimes by friends or family members about why radio, especially why Christian radio. And it's definitely not, as Mark said, for the money. It's more for the lives that are impacted, including our own. Not only do we get a chance to hear phone calls or emails from people saying that this song was played right at the right time for them, maybe a program or something that we said, and we're not special people by any means, but just being able to be a part of that in someone's life, and that daily encouragement that just lifts them up in their circumstances that they're going through, that's worth it.
And just the other day, yesterday, a little kid called up, a young man who was just so grateful that he got to spend another day with his dad, who had just been diagnosed with some pretty tough medical conditions, and nobody was real sure how long Dad was going to live. And this just really mature young man called up and said, I'm grateful I get another day with my dad today. And then we find out later in the day that there was a listener who was going through some tough stuff and just needed to be reminded that even on the days when she's not the mom she wishes she could be, that God will still use her, and ultimately she's there in her kid's life. And you just never know what God's going to use to make an impact on somebody. And at the end of the day, when you put your head on the pillow, you just hope that you poured yourself into something that's going to last.